We are back with another episode of Real Talk.
We even got it on the screen in case you guys forget while you're
Getting that
watching it.
professional
right there.
look for you
It was all
guys.
my idea, the genius move right there.
Obviously, Damien's the genius in the group.
Obviously. Got a pretty exciting show today.
This is the first official show of 2019. I know we're a bit late to the party, but
Yeah.
gave you guys some good content last week.
Yeah, some really good stuff. We talked about the best movies of 2018.
Yep.
And we also looked forward to really what's an exciting year for 2019.
Crazy year.
Yeah.
And it's just got started. Like, slow start to the year, but now
Yeah.
I feel like it's starting to take off a bit.
It's pretty cool because in the UK right now we're getting a lot of the Oscar stuff. I don't know why, but I
bit
think
late,
a lot of the indie films don't like the UK until around January and February time.
Prejudice.
And it's one of those things where we all, as I drop my phone,
Smooth.
we all get a bit, we get to that point towards the end of the year where we're saying, look, all these films before that was good, but you're waiting for the Academy Award nominated films to come out. Then January and February hits us with the big ones.
And then once the Academy Awards is done, then I feel like the year truly starts. Because the
Yep.
Academy Awards it's kind of the back end of 2018, and then the ones that have come out in 2019 don't really feel a part of this year because they've been nominated for last year's Oscars in a sense, if that makes sense.
Sure, yeah.
But as we've said, we've got a packed out show. I'm going to be reviewing two films that I've seen, one that's not actually out in the UK yet, and you're going to be reviewing two films.
Yep.
I'm going to get it going.
Let's go, man. What you got first then?
The Return of M. Night Shyamalan with Glass.
Now
One of
this-
the most sort of, I don't even want to use the word controversial because his heart is set in the right place for the most part.
Well, I mean, okay, so this is a guy who's obviously had... He had a bad run of movies, obviously. We had that time when The Last Airbender came out, and
Yeah.
obviously we had...
He got pushed to the back of the line, didn't he?
Yeah, and then there was The Village, which... That was hit and miss. I liked it. You liked it as well.
The Village 2004, The Visit, are you talking about? The Visit, which came in 2014.
I was thinking The Village.
The Village in
But
2004.
the Visit
Okay.
was a good film as
Yeah.
well. That
I
was
like
his,
The Visit, man.
That was his return.
Return.
And then obviously after that, we have...
Split, man.
Split, which is...
Knocked it out
this
the
is the sequel to Split. So tell me about it. You went to go see it. What did you think about it?
Yeah, so basically, Glass merges the worlds of Split and Unbreakable. For those that have seen Split, Bruce Willis's character came up at the end for the Shyamalan twist. He loves a twist.
Yeah.
If you watch the episode of It's Always Sunny, the Shyamalan twist is...
Well, that's probably the
core
best.
part of
I think
Hollywood.
that's his best twist ever.
No.
I honestly do, and I'll tell you why. Because Split's a good film. That twist for me made it a great film because it changes the whole perspective of the story. Whereas
It does. It really does change the whole
Sure.
perspective of the story, actually.
Yeah, and the
You're
reason
right.
why this Sixth Sense one for me doesn't quite match this. This is all subjective. This is what I think. Obviously, we're still going to talk about Glass, but going back to Split, I thought that was one of the coolest things you could have ever done. Introducing us to this James McAvoy character. We're all thinking this is a cool story about this character.
And it's just set in its own little universe.
And then bang, hits you up, and now we obviously have Glass, which is
And
the
he's
sequel.
never done this shared universe idea. Not a lot of filmmakers would ever venture down that avenue until obviously the MCU came out. DC followed suit. And then, you had your Freddy vs. Jason, Alien vs. Predator stuff. But most parts, directors would make solely individual movies with no crossovers. So this is an exciting time to be a film fan. You get an opportunity to see characters you wouldn't necessarily see before. So you got James McAvoy's The Beast, The Horde, whatever you want to call him. I like sticking with The Horde. I think that's a cool name. But
I think Hedwig's the coolest. Hedwig.
Oh man, Hedwig steals the show in this movie.
He creeps me out, but I love him at the same time.
He doesn't even creep me out. I'd hang out with Hedwig.
I've
man.
never loved a mature man as much as Hedwig.
We also have Patricia as well.
Yeah.
Right, we're not going to go and list all these characters because we'll be here all day. But basically, it follows on from the end of Split where David Dunn, who's played by Bruce Willis, he's the superhero that was born in Unbreakable.
Yep.
Mr. Glass was the super villain born in Unbreakable. One of the best origin stories ever made.
One of the best superhero films.
Yeah, exactly. Whether it's a superhero film or not, it is a great origin story. Another amazing twist, by the way. That was crazy. So yeah, it immediately begins with these guys trying to suss each other out. Mr. Glass is in the background for a lot of this film because he's incarcerated in a mental institution because he's deemed insane for his thoughts on how comic books reflect the real world, which is something that I think is going to put a lot of people off who've seen Split because there is this case with it being a shared universe film. Unbreakable came out such a long time ago. A lot of people I know went into this expecting direct sequel to Split in terms of the vibe, the horror elements, and it's not that at all.
Okay.
It is exactly what it says on the tin. It's a combination of what makes both of the predecessors.
So are you saying to
Good.
people don't be expecting an action-packed film?
No,
going into
no,
this?
it's very much a slow burner. It's a slow burner in the vein of Unbreakable.
Okay.
It has the tension of Split, the comedy of Split.
Okay.
I believe that this is going to be a film that is going to be looked at in a higher sense in years to come, as has been the case with Unbreakable. You know, he did have monster hits with Sixth Sense and Signs straight away, but you know, when you talk about some of the greatest films ever made, and this is by no means one of the greatest films ever made, but a lot of the greats did become
Great over time.
over time. Exactly. I read a review the other day where Variety absolutely slated The Shining.
Yeah, I've heard
So,
quite a few.
You know, this isn't just for Glass, but because the reviews are bad, I'm going to say that. The reviews are really not favourable to this film. And I think that's kind of just jumping on the bandwagon of trying to bring down Shyamalan when he's doing things that others aren't necessarily doing in the industry, and he's a filmmaker that takes risks. You can't deny that Shyamalan has never played it safe with any film that he's done. He's always tried
For
to...
better or for worse.
Exactly.
Definitely, yeah.
You know, the worst being Last Airbender. But in terms of the film, I really like seeing these guys share the screen together. The contrast in styles, you know, I feel like it's a great ending for all three characters' stories. You do get a definitive ending to these three characters, but they leave it open for that universe to be explored in the future.
And what do you think about
McAvoy's performance
that's what I was
is
gonna ask, 'cause
unbelievable.
Split for me, I thought was so unique in the sense that James McAvoy is playing this multi-personal character, this villain who you don't know whether or not you're connecting to him on an emotional level or if you hate him, and you can't quite tell. And one of the things that I'm looking forward to, because I still have to see Glass.
Yeah,
but
you should watch it, man.
I'm interested in how McAvoy's acting has continued in this. Is it still as great than as Split for you?
Well, I feel... Right, it's an amazing performance, but obviously Split is
His
the
movie.
better film. It's his film. It's his message to the Oscars, just saying, you know, what more can an actor do to
I honestly
put
thought-
themselves into a role?
I was really wanting him to get nominated
He
for
should
Split.
have. For pure acting ability, regardless of what the film's message conveys, what it represents in Hollywood, the genre that it represents. You know, it is a horror thriller, which universally gets ignored at the Oscars, apart from Get Out last year, which was the first in a long time. I feel like this was another incredible performance. I think everyone's going to look back at the end of this year and regard it as one of the best of the year.
Now, obviously, we were talking about the Shyamalan twist.
Yeah.
This film obviously has a twist somewhere.
It does.
Does it live up to the other twists that we've seen before?
No, it
No.
doesn't.
So when you go in, see, for me personally, on the outside looking in, I'm thinking to myself, okay, there's three things I'm expecting from this movie. Number one, it's a sequel to Unbreakable, so I'm expecting some of these elements from the previous films to return. I'm also expecting great performances from James McAvoy.
Yes.
Because he was great in Split. I'm also to see a little bit of Bruce Willis being great. I don't know how much he's involved in the film. And Sam
He's
Jackson.
a cool character, man.
Yeah.
So
is he in it quite a lot?
I would say that Bruce Willis and James McAvoy share the most airtime.
Yeah.
Mr. Glass comes on around about halfway through the film. This is a long film, by the way, so well over 2 hours, about 2 hours and 15 minutes or something like that. So it's a bit of an endurance test. I went with a group of friends where it was mixed reception from the group. Went with 4 guys. Me and another friend really liked it. 2 others just didn't connect with it.
And that's the vibe I'm getting with a lot of people.
Yeah, it's going to split people down the middle.
Split. I like what he did there. I like that it's still in the punch for me.
Definitely intended to do. That wasn't accidental.
All right, so overall, you are recommending it.
I give it a 3 out of 5, and I know that is such an on the fence.
Well, yeah.
rating.
But I get that. It's one of those films.
I can
over
see
time.
the flaws with it, but it nowhere near did enough to deter me away from the film. But it is one of those films. I've seen it once. I really don't need to watch it again, which is, obviously you can't say that about Split.
No, of course, Split. I find myself wanting to return to.
So now, I want to hear about your thoughts on one of the biggest Oscar bait pictures of the year.
So, the film I saw, you went to go see Glass. I actually went to go see Vice last Wednesday. And I think it's got its official release now in the UK. I don't know if it is. Is it officially released here?
Yeah. Either tonight or tomorrow.
On Friday, yeah.
Why did you see a preview screening?
I saw a preview screening first, so I'm not quite sure if it's out or not. But anyways, this is on. I didn't know how many Oscars it would get nominated for. This video is being recorded after we found out that it's been nominated for 8 Oscars, including Amy Adams for playing Dick Cheney's wife, and then Christian Bale being nominated for playing Dick Cheney.
Yeah.
Who is basically, Vice is about this guy who was the vice president, Dick Cheney, who was essentially the president. He was almost using the actual president's position through him. Like, he was kind of giving him a voice in his head. You know how people have, like, the devil on their shoulder giving advice? He was this guy.
The devil.
This movie is very much in the same vein as Adam McKay's previous film, The Big Short, which if you've seen that, a lot of people, and I know you're one of these.
Did you like it?
I do like it. I do like Big Short. I thought it was very cool with pop culture, little Easter eggs. I thought it was really... It was a cool, interesting way to tell a very, very boring story.
Exactly.
And it came across as a boring story for many people.
No, I think that was a perfect analogy of what that film was. It was very quirky in the way that it was made.
Yeah.
It had some, it had a really great cameo from Margot Robbie. Any reason to get Margot Robbie on screen.
Sprinkle a bit of Margot Robbie and anything. We're happy with it.
That was the redeeming factor in that movie.
This is made very much in the same vein of that, which is very fast-paced, almost... Wolf of Wall Street-esque, if you will. I'm not saying
you invested all the way through. Or
now, here's the thing for me personally. You learn about this guy who's a scumbag, Dick Cheney. I still can't say his name right. I'm pretty sure it's Dick Cheney.
No, you are.
And I'm American, so I should be saying it right either way. But I think the way Christian Bale is able to portray this guy, who's a scumbag, he's a villain. Yet this film really tries to bring him down to a human, emotional aspect at some point.
Which is obviously going to suck the audience
in.
in.
And I felt like I was really able to connect to this guy. And that I felt Christian Bale was able to bring in this performance of this really douchey guy and really hammer home how much of an impact this man made on history. And I'm not going to be here to talk about politics. I'm not here, none of that.
We're looking at filmmaking.
Yeah, of course. And this story is astonishing for the pure amount of balls to the wall story elements it has. When I'm saying that, I'm saying you're looking at what happened behind the scenes and the way that's depicted on the screen. Christian Bale, Steve Carell's also in this movie.
Yeah.
George W. Bush is also played by Sam Rockwell. Great performances.
Sam Rockwell got a nomination as well for Best Supporting Actor.
He actually didn't.
He didn't?
Yeah, I don't think he got nominated.
Am I thinking about the Golden Globes?
You are thinking about Golden Globes.
I'm thinking about Golden Globes.
And wow. Steve Carell's great in this. So is Sam Rockwell is good, not great in this movie. A lot of people are hyping up Sam Rockwell. But it's all about Christian Bale, because this is Christian Bale's movie.
Yeah, this is what I want to ask. In terms of his previous performances, which are obviously absolutely stellar, where does this rank?
It is my favorite performance from him. It's my favorite. No, and I told you this before we went to go see. This is my favorite performance. Not saying that this is his best ever movie. Don't read into it.
In terms of pure acting ability.
Yeah, and I'm really going back to some of his better roles, even American Psycho.
What I was going to mention.
Yeah, American Psycho, and I thought he was able to pull through a really... It's a really gritty performance, and that's a really cliche word. What does gritty mean? Well, I mean that mean dark.
But it was visceral. It was real.
It reminded me of Leonardo DiCaprio portraying of Jordan Belfort. And when I'm saying that, and it's this guy who you're almost laughing at, you're laughing with, you're disgusted at him. You're also saying, this is really interesting. Let me invest more of my time and almost
you can't take your eyes off
this
guy.
You can't at all. And that's not to say this movie doesn't have any boring moments, because just like The Big Short, this movie is a slow burn at some points.
How long does it clock in at?
Clocks in at 2 hours and 10 minutes, I believe.
That is not bad.
So it's not as long as The Big Short. Big Short was around 2:35.
Yeah,
I believe.
That was a hard watch for me.
And Adam McKay is able, and he was nominated for this movie as well, and I can definitely see why.
Did he get nominated for Big Short too?
He did get nominated for Big Short as well. I thought this was the first time he got nominated for.
And Command doing bits of it.
And this movie does a really good job of portraying this guy's scummy history. Amy Adams as well is shown as this really powerful woman acting behind Dick Cheney's shoulder at all times, almost saying to him, look, pick yourself up, get out there, and not necessarily telling him what to do, tell him to do something. And I think she's going to win Best Supporting Actress. I actually do. I know we've also got a lot of other great actresses that we're going to talk about in a minute. But definitely Vice is better for me than the previous film, Big Short, which is going to get a lot of fair comparison because it's the same kind of choppy, almost quirky.
Is it edited brilliantly?
It's edited brilliantly, but it's not even edited brilliantly. It's edited differently.
Right.
So you're watching all these other movies
Against the grain of what you've
yeah,
seen
and it
before.
reminds me of an Oliver Stone film where we're coming back and forth between the timeline.
Nice.
He does. Adam McKay wrote. I believe he wrote this film. He wrote it in a way that really it will draw someone who's very not interested to American politics. He'll bring out analogies for you guys to kind of really understand what these characters are doing.
Because it is a difficult subject for the common person to understand.
And it's
I'd find it difficult,
Dick
man.
Cheney was a very Republican conservative man. He was part of the Conservative Party. And I think if you're a Republican or a Democrat, like left or right, whatever, there is something in this for everyone. For the left side, this movie might show you, hey, look, this guy was a real scumbag. This movie tries to make fun of some of the really awful things he did sometimes. You'll almost be disgusted. You'll be thinking to yourself, how did this happen? If you're on the other perspective where, I don't know, somehow you're okay with that as a conservative, you'll be able to find enjoyment, I guess, in the story of Dick Cheney, of what happened behind the scenes. And I'm not saying I'm here or there, I'm just saying there's something here for everybody.
Yeah.
Overall, I'm expecting it to really... I'm expecting to get an Oscar for at least Christian Bale.
Does it take
not
Best Picture?
not Best Picture, I don't think, at all. But it's a very good movie. It's a very good movie, and I don't think a lot of people are talking about it either, being like a really fun, good movie.
So next up we have Jonah Hill's directorial debut, mid-90s, which actually isn't out here till April, which is really weird. 'Cause it came out in the US in September, October.
Yeah, and it premiered well over a year ago as well. I think it premiered in 2017, end of it, or I could be wrong. It might have been January for Sundance, but it's been a while.
It was 2018.
Was it 2018? Either way, a
long
while.
time ago.
Yeah, tell us about them, man.
So, I mean, this is like a passion project for Jonah Hill. If anyone knows what Jonah Hill is interested in real life, if you follow him on social media or anything, he's a massive hip hop fan and kind of reflects the skate culture around hip hop, because that didn't really come to the forefront of hip hop or the fashion world that hip hop influences until the 90s. It was widely regarded as a grunge culture type scene. Like when it hit LA in the 90s, it sort of brought numerous different people together. It really brings a sense of friendship and value that other cultures don't have. You know, you have a 10-year-old kid hanging out with an 18-year-old kid. You've got a 14-year-old kid in the middle. These guys come from broken homes. They have no real friends, but they're brought together through the love of skateboarding.
It's a coming-of-age story that really brings everyone together in this culture.
It is a coming-of-age story. And the lead actor that Jonah Hill got for this film, Sonny Suljic, I hope I'm saying that name right, what an absolute gem of an actor he is. And Jonah Hill actually found this kid by just going to a skate park in LA. He said, I'm not gonna get a represented actor, a glorified performer. I want to find someone who is actually within the culture, and the performance will reflect the realism that he's experienced in his life. So he goes to a skate park in LA, sees this kid kind of like learning the ins and outs of skateboarding. He's just starting. He's like, that's my guy.
There we go. And honestly, Sonny brings out a great performance. His character is called Stevie. He's the brother of Lucas Hedges in this film.
Lucas Hedges, man.
There is a special relationship between Stevie and his brother, a very abusive, almost manipulative relationship. And this film, Mid-90s, really shows what it's like to have this kid, Stevie, grow up in a terrible household, but how this skater group really drags him into this whole idea of becoming a man, of becoming someone better than who you are originally.
This skater group gives Stevie something that his brother or mother cannot, which is a sense of belonging. You know, he can learn things from this group that he wouldn't be able to learn from his brother, who completely neglects him. And it's the classic younger brother, older brother relationship where the older brother is resenting the younger brother because he's been kind of babied a bit more. You know, as the mother always thinks that it's Lucas Hedges' character doing something wrong, and Stevie obviously blames Lucas Hedges' character for that.
Sure.
And that's why the beatdowns keep coming and coming throughout the film.
And I thought Jonah Hill did a great job of capturing what it is like to go through all of this in the 90s.
Exactly.
Which is, I think, interesting for us, you know, perspective, looking back then. I think it's great.
Even though we are 90s kids, but we
End of 90s.
Yeah, matured in the 2000s. You know, there was a period where it crossed over from the early 2000s to the late 90s, where I think us guys can sort of resonate with it to a certain degree. Even if you grew up with no idea of what skate culture was like, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you never skateboarded before. No. What matters is that moment where you realise that you're with people that actually care about you. They don't just want to be with you for any value that you have. They just want to hang out with you and make you get away from any bad that you have in your life.
And that's what really brings out the performance strongly from these actors, like Lucas Hedges, but obviously Sonny Soljic, who he's able to bring across that emotion that you're talking about. That, and I don't remember the name of the actors of the skating group, but these kids have a great chemistry. And when you go into a movie like this, you're not here thinking, I'm going to see a movie that's one of the greatest films of all time. You're looking for something where it's more of a Perks of Being the Wallflower, almost a reckoning back to Breakfast Club,
nostalgic
movie. And this movie's filmed in 16mm cameras, and it's
gorgeous.
A great look. Honestly, great look. And Jonah Hill, being behind the camera, has a really bright future, I think.
Yeah.
Going forward, the way he wrote this all by himself, to hear how he's recruited these actors, he's got a great connection, which I think have a great connection with child actors is really difficult in this day and age.
Exactly, for a first-time director like himself, but he's spotted them, he has the eye for talent, which is 100%. One thing. He's nurtured them, and he's given these kids a career now. Yeah. He can put that on his resume and say that he gave kids a career in acting.
In a great film.
Exactly.
It's a great film, and I think it could have been nominated for this year's Oscars. It can't get nominated for next year. And I thought it might have...
So it should have been nominated for this year if it was going to get something.
Yeah, if it was going to get something. It didn't in the end, which I'm not saying that's good, bad, whatever. I'm just saying, me personally,
do you think it's worthy of Best
I think
Picture?
Maybe original screenplay would suit that perfectly.
I wouldn't mind seeing it Best Picture nomination.
It probably doesn't, not compared to everything else that was in that list, bar Black Panther.
I knew you were going to say that.
It is an interesting story.
We'll get on that one in a minute, wait, as well. Anyone who watched last week's episode.
Well, we are talking about the Oscars, so should we talk about the next movie then that I saw?
Let's get, anyone who's on the fence about watching mid-90s, please watch it. It only clocks in at an hour and 25 minutes.
It's nothing.
I thought, alright, I'm going to stick it on one morning. Absolutely adored that film. You don't get to see many films made like that anymore.
It's a simple movie.
It is.
And that's not anything against the filmmaker. It's a simple movie.
Beautiful soundtrack. All the best of the 90s hip hop.
80s, 90s hip hop.
Pharcyde. You've also got the Smiths in there. Yeah. One of the most beautiful scenes in the movie is. I'm not going to tell you what the scene is.
Yeah, it really has a big part in the film. The Smiths.
Yeah, but Morrissey just pouring his heart out, man. It really pulls on the heartstrings.
No, it's brilliant.
Amazing film. I'd give it a 5 out of 5. I really would.
Yeah. Really? 5 out of 5?
For what it was. Yeah.
Really?
Not in comparison to anything else.
No,
I didn't have any flaws with it.
I won't give it a rating. I wouldn't say it's a 5 out of 5, but I think we might have different scales in that perspective. But it's a great film.
Yeah. We do rate films on different merits.
Which leads me to our next film, which is nominated for 10 Oscars.
It's crazy.
The Favorite. Okay, it's directed by, and I have to get this guy's name up, Yorgos Lanthimos.
That's a tough one to say.
That's the one time I'm going to say his name. Never saying it again. He also directed The Lobster and Sacred of a Killing Deer. I actually really like The Lobster. Okay. I think his movie
Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Killing of a Sacred Deer is also okay. I don't. That's not my favorite of the three. This is probably my second favorite album. He has a very specific audience. Okay, so when you go and watch the trailers, don't be expecting I don't know how to explain it. This film is very unique.
It's portrayed as a comedy in the trailers.
And it almost is a comedy. This is what I'm saying for the audience that is going for. It's a very independent film audience, okay? Which means that the humor that's in this movie most likely will not appeal to humor.
A lot of people's heads.
Not even go over. It's just not going to it wouldn't be funny for us. Emma Stone, Olivia Colman. Olivia Colman is fantastic in this. And Rachel Weisz all have a very interesting relationship in this movie. Obviously, Olivia Colman plays Queen Anne. Emma Stone plays this newly recruited housemaid who gets also brought on by Queen Anne to be her servant. And obviously, Rachel Weisz is the long friend of Queen Anne. She plays Lady Sarah. And it's a really interesting film about how Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz are really battling out to be the favorite of Olivia Colman's Queen Anne. And that's our film. Our film isn't anything more than that. And it goes back to kind of like the mid-90s where we're really set in this one location.
Right.
It's set in this big old mansion, castle-looking building, and these performances, although they're fantastic, they're made for a specific audience. Yet again, if you've seen The Lobster, if you've seen The Circular Killing Deer,
you're gonna know what to expect.
There's great cinematic moments of beauty where you have these camera shots where he shoots it on a fisheye camera. I don't know what the exact name of the camera is, but it's where you can see all of the surroundings around you, and it's cool. You can definitely tell
it's just
that
cool.
It's all aesthetics. For me personally, that's why I thought about it. It's a great period piece as well, talking about the relationship between men and women during this time, about how men have this certain authority that women don't have. And Emma Stone,
I've heard there's a few unsettling scenes, which obviously, with this director, isn't any surprise
not
to
at
the
all,
audience.
especially with Killing of a Sacred Deer. And the director is really able to pull off something unique, something that isn't for me personally. I think it's the weakest of all the films that have been nominated for Best Picture. There's a great performance in there from Olivia Colman, who I think might win Best Actress. There is, and let me tell you this one thing. Olivia Colman might have the best acting scene from last year. She is phenomenal. Honestly, I'm gushing.
Is it a dramatic scene?
It's a
or-
dramatic scene. No, it breaks your heart. There's a certain thing that happens in Queen Anne's personal life, and you find out something about her character that truly breaks your heart. It's just done with her in this room, in this scene, nothing more than her breaking down something that happened in her life. Rachel Weisz is great in this movie. Emma Stone is always great. She's always a plus in anything.
It's the
And she's
second
great.
nomination now, I believe.
Yeah, yes, her second after La La Land, which she won
Yeah.
for. Don't expect her to win
No.
for this one. But this film, although it's nominated for 10 Oscars, I can see why, me personally, it didn't hit on that. I thought the story was underwhelming. I thought the ending was quite jarring. And again, it panders to a certain audience where it's kind of a edgy indie feel where I think the casual film fan might be left unsatisfied.
In terms of the ending, I've read a lot that it's very abrupt and you don't get any sense of...
It's abrupt. It's meaningful though.
It is
It's
meaningful
abrupt,
for
It's
you.
a meaningful.
Do you get closure from it?
You get closure, but I think a lot of people who are looking for something on the surface are not going to find anything on the surface with the ending. This is a movie where you're not going to go with, your girlfriend to watch. This isn't an easy watch, right? It's purposefully meaningful to the extent where it can kind of get condescending. Nothing against the director in the sense that
He does seem... Is he
makes-
this... I've never seen one of these directors' films.
Oh,
but
from your Ghost left.
that's what I'm saying. By the way, I'm trying to say this guy's
I'll make the
name.
mistake, but this movie
Is he a
lot like that.
pretentious director?
No, I won't say pretentious at all. Like, even though this is,
But like you
almost
said,
a
he's
negative,
tailored for a certain audience,
and it almost comes across condescending as
and
well.
he's like, this is the sort of film I like making. I'm gonna make it for the people that like
Yeah.
it, and anyone that doesn't, I'm not gonna try
Yeah.
and convince you to like it.
No, it's one of those. It is.
He's not gonna try. He's not gonna try and take any. Turning any haters
No,
or any
and-
people that aren't fans of him into fans. He's not bothered about that.
Nothing wrong with that. This guy isn't trying to be the next Steven Spielberg. He's
No.
trying to make his own movie. He had a specific vision, and he achieved that. That vision for me was not a pleasurable one.
And I've
I
seen
guess.
interviews
That's
with him where he's saying his whole directing process is built on sort of suffering and, and loathing.
it's depressing.
Yeah.
Depressing is the word.
Imagine the sets, being on one of those sets, man.
Well, apparently Olivia Colman and Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz all got along fine. They were saying how
yeah, I've seen that they've gotten along fine.
and they were saying how there were some scenes that they'd go over together, and some scenes that you think would be a bit awkward can't come across as a funny scene for them, but
Yeah.
for us it's quite like I don't like watching that on screen. But overall, I guess it's a good movie for what it went for. I guess some people are gonna love it.
But you can't go back to
I
it.
can't go back to it. I don't want to.
What emotions did it leave it with you?
Well, very low. I felt low after watching this.
Was it depressing?
It takes a lot out of you. If you go in to watch this movie, you're not there for something that will make you happy at all for an hour and a half.
Is it taking things out of you because you're trying to figure out the meaning behind it or what it's
But
trying to convey to you, or is it
maybe
just
it's
the
a mixture
subject
of all
matter?
those. It's the subject matter. It's the story that goes on here. And although there are very funny moments in this movie, there are moments where I laughed. Whether that was sometimes when
Awkward.
I laughed, well, it's awkward because I don't know whether or not that's intentional or not.
Yeah.
I don't know if the director meant
You
that.
might
to
be the
funny.
only guy laughing
Yeah,
in the cinema.
exactly. And the overall meaning behind certain scenes, you're trying to really delve into it, but then by the time you're trying to delve into it,
Something else has
yeah,
cropped up.
it's a hit.
Man,
It's a
you
miss.
look tired even talking about this,
Honestly,
man.
because I'm remembering.
It's draining.
I'm remembering trying to really understand some things that happened in this movie, like why did the character do that, or why was that shown on the screen. And yeah, it's draining. It's an okay movie, but
I think I have to go and watch it just to make my own mind up.
I'm not
about it.
quite sure. I think it's just over 2 hours long.
Okay.
And
Yeah, that's not surprising.
it takes a lot to be invested for the whole duration of the movie. 1 hour and 59 minutes it runs for. And it takes a lot to be invested for the whole thing. So again, 10 Oscars nominated. Apparently some people out there liked it. Me personally wasn't the biggest fan.
Okay. Right, let's get into the news of the week. What an
Yes.
amazing year it's been for film in terms of news.
Yeah,
And
already.
let's get into it. We've had John Wick 3. The trailer for that got released last week. I know we touched upon it last week briefly.
We talked about John Wick 2. I wasn't the biggest fan of it.
Yeah.
I liked it. I didn't love it. John Wick 1, though, one of the best action movies ever. John Wick 3 trailer, though, holy crap.
I thought you were going to swear.
No. Holy, it is
Yeah.
unreal.
John Wick versus the world.
Yeah, essentially. Which, yes, that's
We're
all.
all up
That's
for it.
all you need to say.
Do you think this is going to be the final John Wick film?
They'll
Don't know.
they'll do a spin-off.
Keanu Reeves just loves it.
I don't
Aren't they
even
doing
know.
a TV show as well, set in that universe? I'm near
Probably.
certain they are.
Mate, there's probably a spin-off out there for the Barney cinematic universe. I don't know at this point.
The dogs could get their own movie.
The dog, all the
chilling.
dogs, all the John Wick
Let's just have a day off. for
John
once.
Wick has another dog in this movie. Can we all just go back to that? And Halle Berry is like the caretaker or whatever for this dog.
Wow.
I mean, she could take care of me if she wants to.
Are you saying you're a dog?
I'm saying I would be for her.
Wow, that got really weird and dark.
Real quick. But no, I'm excited for this movie.
Let's talk about any eye-catching scenes. Obviously, I stay away from the trailers. I've seen a lot of screenshots and snaps from it. It looks awesome. I've
Yeah,
seen him on horseback.
have you seen the full trailer yet? Or have you just seen the clips?
Stayed away.
You stayed away from
Stayed away, man.
There are some pretty cool action shots. Now, we don't see the full thing unwind, but there are obviously almost at this point cliche John Wick fight scenes. When I say cliche, I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm just saying you watch John Wick 1 and 2,
Yeah, you know what you
you're
want.
in for. And there's moments of really cool sword fighting sequences.
Is it an R-rated trailer?
No, I don't think
So
it's
it
red
doesn't
band.
go
No,
into
it does go
too
into
much
violence
depth.
or swearing or anything like that. But there's it looks like it's gonna have a couple cool motorcycle chase scenes.
Nice.
This movie does a really good job of showing you a lot. But I think everyone who's going to watch the movie has already seen John Wick 1 and 2. They know their audience. They know their action
And
audience.
these are long films as well. These are long action
Yeah.
movies. Oh, well over 2 hours.
This film has a grand scope. It has a grander scope than everything else. This
Yeah.
film obviously has a lot more money invested into it. And we've gone from John Wick finding this random mob crew to John Wick now finding every assassin in the world ever. And it's great. The
gonna be
trailer was
awesome.
great. And I can't wait to watch it. Although I wasn't the biggest fan of John Wick 2, I was always going to be interested in John Wick 3. Parabellum, I believe that's the
It is.
sub-name for it.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. I'm
glad you're
anticipating for it to be
enthusiastic
awesome.
about it.
I really am.
We've also got Spider-Man Far From Home. The trailer for that got released, and it is confirmed to be set after Endgame.
Well,
Which is a bit annoying.
You haven't seen a trailer for this either yet, have you?
I've not, but we had a conversation about this.
There's an interesting scene where there's a passport scene for it belongs to Peter Parker, and the year
Yeah.
and the date is completely blocked out. I can't tell you why. There'd be no reason though to hide it. I mean, it is confirmed that it's after, but there
Yeah.
was no reason to hide the date if you've already saying that it's post. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that they're lying. I'm not. Maybe it's an editing
But the beginning
mistake.
of this film is obviously going to be quite unique, given that it's off the back of Endgame.
Well, they definitely got a lot going into it after Endgame. Like Endgame is going to be basically the prologue to Spider-Man: Homecoming. I
Yeah.
mean, Spider-Man
Far From Home.
Yeah.
Far From Home, yeah.
And it looks great. Again, what more
Jake
are you
Gyllenhaal in
expecting?
the MCU, man. You're not feeling it. He's one of my favourite actors today.
I'm not feeling it because I already know what's going to happen to his character.
Is that a presumption?
No, like,
Or is it just spelled out
his
for you?
character is supposed to be someone good. We all know Mysterio is a villain.
So
like,
who's
what-
the villain, Damien? Who's the villain?
We don't know.
So that's going to be a surprise,
Now,
or is
apparently
it just going to be a
there's- well,
team-up movie?
I'm sorry, but the way they marketed this movie, it's very done by. You can tell that it's done by Sony and not at all done by Marvel. And Sony have a specific way of showing their whole movies almost in a trailer.
Yeah,
and I felt
a
like
lot of studios do that, man.
Now I feel like we might have not seen anything of the last third of this movie, like any end.
should hope
no,
not, man.
But I mean, that is something that we saw from Homecoming. That's something we saw of Venom, for better or for worse. Venom.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. I mean, it's a Spider-Man movie.
Of course, we're going to be excited.
Who is not going to be excited for a Spider-Man movie, like, ever? So
Yeah.
it's great. I mean, there's not much more I can say.
I mean,
besides
what a few
that.
months it's going to be for Marvel. We've got Captain Marvel, then we've got Endgame, then we've got Far From Home.
Yep.
It's going to be incredible.
What I feel like, is there something big coming out next year as well? Is next year we're supposed to have Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which who
What
knows?
Marvel film do we have next year?
I don't know.
Surely it's not going to be a year without a Marvel film.
No, there's got to be Doctor Strange 2. I think comes out next year.
Yes, you're right. Scott Derrickson's back in the directorship.
I didn't care that much for Doctor Strange.
It was
so.
alright. It's not. I'm not going to be counting down the days to Doctor Strange
No.
2.
No, Spider-Man 3, Spider-Man 2. whatever you wanna call it. Looks
Today,
good.
or not today, like in the past week, the Uncharted director got announced. You're right, rolling your eyes.
Again.
Yeah, to be fair, it's changed from the director of Stranger Things.
This
now
is the 4th time it's changed now.
to Dan Trachtenberg, who directed 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Which is great.
Is an awesome film.
Like,
But
great.
It's not a grand scale movie.
but no, that's not. Why at this point are they still
Still
going
clinging
forward?
on with it. Tom Holland is attached to star. Whether I don't think he's going to stick around for much longer.
I don't know why. Honestly, this movie's
young
going to be
Nathan
scrapped.
Drake,
This
obviously.
movie's going to be scrapped in 6 months from now.
We don't really want to see it. If it's not got Chris Pratt
No.
in it, we don't want to see it.
If it's not-
Because Chris Pratt should be Nathan
there was
Drake.
there was a time when Nathan Fillion should have been.
Did you
Drake.
see the fan-made film that he was in?
Yeah, that was
That was
great.
awesome.
He was awesome. He's not too. They
He
can,
should be Nathan
They
Drake.
can keep Tom Holland as young Drake and
just
get
put Fillion in.
Yeah, get Nathan Fillion as the older guy. Maybe he can be retelling the story, or they
Fillion's
can.
not really been doing much either, has he?
He's not busy. He's doing a
got
fan
a-
short film.
Got a ton of time.
Hit him up. I mean,
make 3 movies.
I know that's a very negative response I just had there, and the only reason why I love the games. I don't have an Xbox, but I still love this game.
The
I played it
games
that
are
much.
some of the best games I've ever played. So regardless, if it stays the way it is now with these two guys attached.
Oh, great! Brilliant.
be there.
No,
We're gonna
great.
be there,
I
aren't
was there when Sean Levy was the director. I was there
Yeah.
when the other
We just want
15,000.
a sense of security that this is actually going
Yeah.
to happen the way it is set out right
So
now.
maybe now that we've got this new director, we can move forward for sure.
Yeah.
Just get this. I just want to see something other than a new director coming in, because this is the 4th one that's come in now in the space of a year and a half.
Yeah.
That's it. Like I want a good Uncharted movie. That's all I want.
And finally, amazing casting news for Sopranos in the past week. John Bernthal, Vera Farmiga,
Yeah.
and James Gandolfini's son
Yeah.
is playing a young Tony
Now,
Soprano.
I haven't seen the show, but the
Dude.
fact that they're
immediately got
recruiting
you
his
hooked.
son, the fact that they're recruiting him, I don't know why that makes me want to see the show even more.
The show is the best series I've ever watched.
You're not
Damien.
the first one to ever say that. That and The Wire is always in the same
And
sentence.
John Bernthal is one of my favourite actors today. I've said this a bunch of
Yeah.
times. Whenever I see him attached to a project, I'm there. But see him in something that I love so much.
Yeah.
And I feel he fits that world. He looks like a guy that would work in a mafia.
He's brilliant. And
He looks
especially-
like a total badass.
What a year it's going to be for John Bernthal. He's got a couple movies lined up, but he just had The Punisher drop.
Yeah.
I mean, like, this... John
His work
Bernthal-
rate is crazy.
John Bernthal is a supporting actor in every movie, it feels like.
And he
And I
steals-
am not complaining
He steals the
at
show
all.
in every movie. We look at
Wind River?
Sicario, Wind River.
He plays a small role in The Wolf of Wall Street, but he's still great in that.
Let me sell you this pen.
Let me say his pen. He's like, yeah, do you not have a pen? Oh, mate, brilliant. John Bernthal.
That ties up the whole movie because DiCaprio tries to sell the pen. at
That
the end of the
movie doesn't work without John Bernthal.
I know. John Bernthal is
So Martin
the
Scorsese.
beautiful piece of that film.
That's great. I like I said, I don't really have any attachment to this news.
Are you going to watch the
Besides-
show soon? What are you on at the moment?
Probably. Currently watching. I'm watching Seinfeld for the first time, and I'm probably tomorrow going to start rewatching The Office for the 20th time.
Dude, just get on Sopranos.
I'm sorry, but have you seen The Office? It is.
I like the British one. Ricky
like-
Gervais is my guy.
You.
Have you seen The British Office?
Yes.
One of the funniest
It's
shows ever.
good.
It is.
US one's 10 times better.
I've heard, but it is a bit of a slow start for me. I've watched the first few episodes. And
Oh yeah, are you talking about the US office?
yeah, the US.
the US
starts
office.
really slow.
I'll get on The Sopranos. By my goal, 2018
To watch The
2019. Definitely.
I'm jealous that you get to
2018.
watch it for the first time. Probably the best ending to ever TV
I'm
show.
gonna watch that, and I'm gonna watch The Wire.
Yeah, I think I need to watch The Wire, man.
The Wire, I've always heard is like on the same level as Sopranos. I've not seen either of them.
True Detective season 3's just started as well. Have you been?
I haven't caught up to that. You have. You've seen the first 3 episodes.
2. I'm gonna watch
you've
the
not
third
seen the
one
third
tonight.
one. Sorry.
Why don't you catch up before next week and we can chat about it next week?
Cool. Yeah,
Right.
that's fine with me.
That is it for this week's show.
Hey, it's been awesome. And you know what? 2019 is going to be a great year for this channel.
Yeah.
And we hope that you guys are loving this. Although these videos are long, we're hoping you can find some enjoyment of what we're doing for you.
Well, I hope so. Yeah,
Yeah,
because we're gonna keep making
Because
them
we're not
regardless.
enjoying it, so you guys better be doing
Speak
it for us.
yourself, mate.
Oh no, I love you really. I'm joking. I'm sorry.
Said it
I'm
now.
breaking this heart.
I'm gonna go and find another
Can't turn
co-host.
around.
You're fired.
All right. Well, my goal in 2019 is to be rehired for
Yeah.
the show. But I mean, thank you guys for continually to support. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Real Talk Keys and subscribe.
Yep, that is everything. You took the words right out of my
Sorry,
mouth.
I'm just taking the show right there. And
You in
until
a
next
rush or
time-
something, mate?
I mean, no, not really.
Right, he's in a rush to go and watch The Sopranos.
Or The Office for the 20th time.
I'm not. Anyway, as Damien said, like, subscribe, tell us your thoughts. If you don't like it, don't bother telling us.
Tough love.
If you do like it, thank you so much for the support.
All right, guys.
Cheers, guys.